On today's episode of Only Child Broadway Edition, we have John Cameron Mitchell, and we talk about his rocker roots.
Why are gays afraid of rock and roll? Maybe it's because their oppressors were listening to Zeppelin when they were young or whatever, but it's like, come on, this is all queerness.
He talks about something he's never done but always wanted to try. So you've never had anal sex once?
If anyone has a reasonable size...
Can we describe what reasonable is before we, because everyone doesn't have the same reasons. And he talks about his current run in Oh Mary on Broadway.
We're permanent 5-show weekend because it just sells more. I think 5 o'clock, maybe they figured it out with somebody.
Let's get into it. Hello everyone, it's me, Bob the Drag Queen. And today I have a guest who is truly an icon of the New York City cabaret space, a drag artist, television, film, and back on Broadway again, playing Mary Todd Lincoln in Oh Mary. All the way from the Shortbus to Broadway. I am joined by John Cameron Mitchell on Only Child Broadway Edition, the show where I get to say anything I want because my annoying little sister is not here. Give it up for John Cameron Mitchell.
Hi,
Do you
everybody.
prefer like the full? Are you a 3-name type?
I did it because it was someone with my name, in the union. But
Like a John Mitchell?
Just is fine. John, JCM, some people call me.
So some people just say John.
Yeah.
I guess in my head,
Nobody calls their babies John anymore. Or Mary.
How about
Or
have you ever been a
Bob.
John?
John who?
Have you ever been a John?
No, what is that?
It's like a name for people named John.
Oh, been called John.
Well, I have an uncle John.
Oh, John Battles, DJ. No. I haven't, and not Jonathan.
Wait, I do know John Battles. That name. Why don't I know that name?
He's like a
Gay?
legendary, yes,
Okay.
gay DJ. He used to be at the Wonder Bar back in the day. I am. What am I talking about? It's my day off. How dare you drag me off on a day off?
Well, to be fair, on an 8 show, did you guys do the 5-show weekend this week?
Yeah.
So if y'all don't know, I just found out the rough way. On certain holidays, like President's Day or Labor Day, when they can like get a lot of tourists in town, they'll go from a Wednesday, Saturday double to a Saturday, Sunday.
We're permanent 5-show weekend because it just sells more. I think 5 o'clock, maybe they figured it out with somebody. So it's like, yesterday I almost died.
5-show weekend is insane.
I know. It's like,
You don't want to call out because your face is on that big picture out there.
I know. Rock stars, they're all like, we're working hard. And I'm like, you're not doing 8 shows a week. You don't know.
I got to say, I have toured with like a legit super duper celebrity before.
They don't do 8, do
I
they?
did Madonna's tour, and the most we would ever do in a week would be 5 shows in a week. And that was a crazy
week.
That week was insane. It was like, this is absolute madness. 5 shows. There were times where we did like 2 shows a week.
Yeah. Luxury.
And we were like,
Go home. And
I'm actually shocked to when I moved to New York City to see. Are you from New Orleans?
No, my dad was Army, so we lived around.
Did you ever do Fort Benning?
No.
In Columbus, Georgia?
Did you live there?
That's where I'm from.
Oh, from the town.
From the town.
You
Columbus,
weren't
Georgia.
military.
No. Well,
No.
the answer is no.
But you probably were surrounded by military kids.
Yes, and I gotta be honest, y'all are kind of toxic.
What?
Military kids are kind of.
Well, you know what they're kind of like? It's
Crazy.
like theater majors. They're your best friend right away because they keep moving and they have to.
Yeah.
But they assume that they're going to never see you again, so they don't always go to the deep place.
They latch on, but they don't burrow deep beneath the
No,
surface.
they're moving
I don't want
on.
to say y'all are like ticks.
We're like theater. We're like theater people
No theater people.
on the road. So I'm used to that. Getting a real home was important to me, and having friends for a long time, and that was a big deal for me to hold on because I kept getting my friends ripped away, and but now I feel like I got my homies. And New Orleans also reminds me of New York in the past, with its rough and tumble, creativity. And deep traditions that you cannot get rid of. You can't change New Orleans. It's not like you can throw money at it like Austin and make it into Elon Musk town. People don't
Shots
like
fired
it.
at Austin.
People don't like it.
I've only been to New Orleans one time, which I just have never. I've only been booked there once in my. I've been traveling for maybe 12 years now.
I know. It's not a money town.
Yeah.
It's a tourist town, but locals don't have a lot of money. So when people come and do shows like Jinx or Bianca or rock, music people, they know it's going to be a fun one as opposed to a big money one. And I actually love it because it gives me. I want my neighbors.
Yeah.
I want neighbors. We had an arsonist on our block blowing shit up, and we all helped each other out because when there's a hurricane coming, you know your neighbors.
Obviously, yeah.
You know, and that's the vibe we need now in America.
Did you go through New Orleans on your travels as as an Army kid, or?
No, I didn't know nothing about the South. We were always Midwest or Southwest. So the South was an exotic, strange place to me.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, New Orleans is its own South, which in some ways has the best of the South.
I'm from the South.
Yeah.
I'm from Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi. Mostly Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always said that New Orleans is a very different.
Yes.
It's
It's got the hospitality.
No, it does.
Yeah.
Well, I'm from Atlanta. There is no I would say if you all, yes, Southern hospitality is a thing, not in Atlanta.
No, because it's a business town.
Yeah, we're not nice. Atlanta's like, hey, what do you want to eat?
Right. Let's drive there. Where were we going to park?
Like Atlanta's, if you ever want to be treated like shit, if you're ever like, I feel too good about myself, I would strongly recommend you go to Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm telling you,
Too big.
They will treat you like these. It is the world's busiest airport.
Yeah.
They will treat you like everything you do is an inconvenience. Everything you do is bothering them. I don't care how mean TSA is where you're from. The TSA in Atlanta, they might actually physically strike you. When you go to TSA
New Orleans,
Atlanta,
they're like, hey, baby, I'll see you again.
oh, there, baby. Come on down here to
Come
New
on
Orleans,
over,
baby.
yeah.
Come on down to the airport, baby. There's a giant hologram of a gun. When you go through TSA, it's a giant gun with like a big. It's like, don't bring your guns. Like they have to keep, because it's not enough.
And
to
now
have
they're
a
not
sign.
getting paid with the shutdown, so they're pissed off.
Oh, I'm telling you, they're cruel.
I spent a lot of time in Athens, though.
What the fuck are you doing in Athens?
Well, I got those rock and roll friends over there doing the rock, like after the B-52s and the REM and the Neutral Milk hotels. It's like, it's a cozy, crunchy town, right? It's far enough from Atlanta so you don't get a whole spillover. I mean, there's some rednecks, but it's like super crunchy and cuddly.
I mean, yeah, you can't escape rednecks anywhere in Georgia.
No, but I mean, those college towns are the places to be.
Yeah, the UGA is up in Athens. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've taught there, and I taught at Emory, or master class.
So you are like are you like a rocker?
I think so. I mean, I think I can get punk rock, but my guides were the queens at Squeezebox.
Mm-hmm.
You're too young for that, but the Sherry Vines, the Mistress Formicas, even Lady Bunny got down and dirty there, and
So she's still filthy.
she's still repulsive.
She never got clean.
No, the AIDS jokes are still going.
Still to this day.
But-
If you're like, no one's telling AIDS jokes anymore, go see Lady Bunny.
Right.
I promise you, she's got one
But
or two for
I
you.
met Laverne Cox there, and Jane County, and it's like Justin Vivian Bond when she first came to New York was reigning supreme, and
She made it to Carnegie Hall.
yeah,
Kiki and Herb.
I know. God
Wasn't that
bless her.
gay?
Now she's a genius, a MacArthur genius.
I mean, she's
She's a genius.
yeah, she's amazing.
So going there, I was like watching these, thinking about the queer tradition of rock and roll. We all know the queer tradition of gospel, of dance music, but rock, we forget that the real originator of punk rock was Little Richard.
Oh yeah, the architect.
Little
Truly.
Richard. I mean, not just rock, but crazy punk,
Oh yeah.
right? I mean, Chuck Berry was compared to Little Richard.
You know, Little Richard wrote Tutti Frutti as an anal sex song.
Yeah, good booty.
Tutti Frutti, good booty.
Booty.
Honestly,
Beginning of rock. I know. And it's like
with
Sister...
anal sex.
And
it will be the end of rock.
and it will take us down. And the Dykes, too. And you look at Sister Rosetta Tharpe and, Bessie Smith. These are also the ones that
Rosetta Tharpe was gay?
That's what they say. For Jesus.
I found out that Ma Rainey is my cousin.
Shut up.
Isn't that crazy?
The gay gene.
The gay gene.
Ma
Me,
Rainey's
my mom,
black.
my uncle, Ma Rainey, my cousin. I don't think
How did you find out?
Ma Rainey's last name is Pritchett,
Yes.
and my dad's last name is Pritchett. And Ma Rainey's from Columbus, Georgia, which is right next to Phoenix City, Alabama, separated by the Chattahoochee River. And my dad was just going through all of our history and just lining stuff up because, when you reach a certain age and you don't have a job,
You have time.
you have time. So my dad started going through our, family tree, and he was like, oh my God, we're related to Ma Rainey. Isn't that insane?
That's so cool.
So in theory, I'm kind of related to Viola Davis.
I'm related to Thomas Jefferson's doctor.
Are you really?
That's all I got.
Are you really?
Yes.
So do you feel like a connection to, are you related to all the Hedwigs out there? Do you feel like
I feel a sisterhood.
Are they all in the family way?
Yeah, and there's a sisterhood of Marys now.
Yes.
And Jinx was like, Hedwig got me going, and I remember you signed something for me when I was a teenager, and then she played Hedwig in Seattle, and now she's doing Mary, and I'm taking over. And Mason Alexander Park, who's doing it in London, played Hedwig on tour. So it's like, I love that, like the weirdos. And it's not just gay or trans or whatever. It's queerdos of all kinds, including straight queerdos. To me, it's like Hedwig is the hardest role anyone will ever do, just physically and mentally. And I thought Mary's good. Mary's easy compared to even though it's hard as hell.
Yeah.
I love it. But, it's the 25th anniversary of the Hedwig film this year.
I know. So can I tell you, I found out about Hedwig and the Angry Inch when I moved to New York City. I moved here and I had this best friend named Frosty Flakes. Frosty Flakes was this drag queen, and we were best friends, and she was like, I'm a head. And I was like, what the fuck is a head? I'm sure you've heard the phrase.
Yeah.
Head. Yeah. I imagine you've heard it. So I'm like, what's a head? And she's like, oh, we love Hedwig. And I was like, what the fuck is a Hedwig? Who the fuck is Hedwig? And she's like, you don't know Hedwig? I was like, I don't know Hedwig. So then she starts doing Hedwig at the gay bar. She's doing all the Hedwig songs, and she had the Farrah Fawcett and the crazy glitter lips and all this stuff. And then I started meeting all these heads along the way. My friend Delighted to Be Here years ago, we were headed downtown because I had a gig, and she goes, my friend is at a party with John Cameron Mitchell, and we're going to swing by that on the way. I don't care if we're late to our gig. We're going to swing by that party in Hell's Kitchen and meet John Cameron Mitchell. This is probably 2013.
I don't remember that.
I mean, there's no way. It was literally, it wasn't a party. It was like 5 people. It was like you at someone's house with like 5 people.
Oh.
So I went upstairs and I saw you, and I was in drag already. Oh. You go, oh, where are you headed? And I said, I'm headed to Barracuda. I do Monday nights at Barracuda. And then you were like, Barracuda?
Is that still going?
They're still doing Barracuda. I said, yeah, we're still doing Barracuda. And then, then my friend got a picture.
And Mona was the queen.
Oh, Mona Foot. Rest in peace to Mona Foot. God. Rip Mona Foot. Rip Mona Foot.
Yes.
But yeah, so you are at Squeezebox.
Yeah.
And is this where Hedwig started?
Yes. I was thinking about it with the composer Stephen Trask for theater, but we were just hanging out at our favorite club, which was Squeezebox, the first predominantly queer rock and punk club that was drag oriented, and various queens would sing with the house band that Stephen ran. My boyfriend was a bass player. So I would be there every Friday, Don Hills. It was finally our place. It's like I loved all kinds of music growing up in the 70s, but the rock and roll and the punk excited me most. And it's like, it's so queer, but why are gays afraid of rock and roll? Maybe it's because their oppressors were listening to Zeppelin when they were young or whatever. But it's like, come on, this is all queerness. So I watched these people. There was a night called Sex, Drags, and Rock and Roll. I heard it was the first live streams cast on the internet in '94.
Really?
The first one was a bunch of queens. And then they put out a record of it, and which Steven said, it's kind of funny. It's like a record of drag queens doing covers. Sounds like ventriloquist on the radio.
Yeah, you might as well just
like that.
Yeah.
So, but people were stunningly good, and I was learning and watching, and then.
Do you remember some of the queens that were really like capturing your attention?
Well, definitely Sherry Vine. Definitely.
Are you still friends with Sherry Vine?
Yeah. Jackie Beat.
The sweet, delightful, always demure, known to be kind, never ruffles feathers.
Right.
Jacqueline Beat.
RuPaul's age peers, who never got to be on a show, who were as brilliant as her, and then the ones that were like, oh, I could do this too, like Lady Bunny or
was that shade? You said that'd be like, I could do that.
Well, she thought, rock, still like rock and roll. And I'm like, well, come and show what you could do. She did Wuthering Heights by Kate Bush and
word.
blew the place down.
She actually has a really good singing
She's got
voice.
a great voice. She doesn't always use it. Debbie Harry, who was at a kind of a less popular moment, came there and was a goddess. I've never seen anything more exciting than 500 people in a room for 200 with her singing Rip Her to Shreds.
Yeah.
And she finally was there. And Jane County, who was the original, trans rocker of the 70s, found that she was, that was her place, really. So she came. Michael Schmidt's the guy who ran it. This person named Pat Briggs, who went by Torment, was a real bitch.
I love a good one-name queen.
Torment. And she had a band that went on Lollapalooza from that moment called Psychotica with like a skin suit. And
How do you remember all this stuff? This is
well,
crazy.
we all remember stuff in our around the 20s. It all goes away later. But it was magic, and I was watching and learning. And then it was time to do one of the characters from my piece, which was based on my German babysitter who became Hedwig, because it was really about the rock star Tommy, who was going to be the lead, who was the son of the general, which was me. Mm-hmm. And Hedwig was a small character, but because it was a drag club, Steven's like, well, you're doing a gig here, you got to do it in drag. And some of the other queens were like, you're not a real drag queen, you're like a Broadway person, you're just slumming it. And I'm like, no, I'm here to learn. And they let me do a full set, and I was accepted, and I was suddenly in the team.
Amazing.
I know, and I learned. Sherry taught me how to tuck, and I'm like, they can only see me from the neck up.
But you got to do it.
You got to do it. Yeah, she's like,
you want to be, then tuck it, honey.
Tuck it. It's just for you, maybe not for them. And then she showed me how to shave through my makeup, and because she's the Barney Rubble of drag. And the insults, the flowing of the insults, Mistress Formica, they called Mattress Formica because she was sleeping with everybody.
Yeah, she probably still is.
Yes, Miss Guy was on the turntables, and it was like the oldest DJ, and it can't turn up your hearing aid.
Did you ever end up doing like a Wigstock or anything?
No, but what was funny is that yes, I did Wigstock. Mm-hmm. But my very first gig at Squeezebox, there was a scout from that Woodstock reboot.
Oh, okay.
And they in '94, and they said, "Would you want to be in Woodstock?" And I thought they said Wig, and I'm like, "Sure." And it turned out to be Woodstock.
Screaming.
And
did you do it?
Well, the other queens got a little jealous, and they're like, "Well, we got to be in it too." And I'm like, "Fine, whatever." But then they couldn't figure out the dressing rooms. There were no dressing rooms.
Yeah, where's it?
They would have had to fly them into Saugerties and helicopters, and it just didn't work out.
Oh, so did it?
No.
That's a shame.
And I know. Can you imagine? I did do Wigstock a couple times, yeah.
You did end up stepping back into Hedwig when it was on Broadway.
Yeah, I replaced myself.
Yeah.
Which people
were excited. People were like really gagged to see you up there.
I couldn't. It was like archaeology. What do I got left? My voice, is it still there? And it was hard because I'm doing choreography for younger people, Neil Patrick Harris.
I mean, how many years had passed since you...
Since
Squeezebox to Broadway?
That would have been like 20 years.
That's like Carol Channing playing, Dolly.
Hello. I know, but I got to dance and stuff. But, there was that joy. It's like Mary. We're having fun. We had fun with casting. And in fact, before we closed, we offered it to Patti LuPone.
What, for Hedwig?
And she was like, because she loves it, and was
that would have
thinking
been insane. Okay, what were some other casting that you guys were like?
Meryl Streep, I offered, and she responded with an email.
Her response is amazing.
I know, which was the best response ever, which was, John, Hedwig is Hamlet in heels, but my knees aren't up to it. And she was so kind.
She's almost 80 now, isn't she? I think she's almost 80. This was probably, what, 10 years ago? Hedwig's like 10 years ago?
Well, that one was 94, so yeah. I think we also offered it, we mentioned it to Maya Rudolph, who was like,
nice.
What? But who's now being, the name's been thrown around for Mary.
Yeah, she'd be amazing. Are you kidding me?
She could have been interesting as Hedwig, right?
I agree. What I love is that
been listening to Minnie Riperton in my dressing room.
Hedwig is kind of a genderless,
raceless, ageless
herself, which makes where anyone can play Hedwig.
It just played for the first time in Shanghai.
Oh, nice.
Local production. I'm like, did they read it? It's about escaping communism. But it was a hit there.
I'm
it's
sure.
been,
I'm sure there are some people in Shanghai who are like, I would like to get out of this.
yeah. And Japan and Korea are ongoing hits,
Mm-hmm.
running for 20 years. And so it's like I can go to different countries and meet people. And Hedwig has been an amazing passport. If ICE stops me, I can just show them.
I'm Hedwig. I don't know if you know this or not, but I'm actually Hedwig. No, my favorite shirt that I'm wearing these days is this. It's a sweatshirt with Jesus being taken away by ICE.
Thank you, because he would have been.
Oh, I would say if Jesus were running for president, conservatives would not vote for him. Like, this guy's a communist.
Right. He's caring about poor people too much.
He hangs out with hookers,
Right.
lepers, the sick.
Right.
He's like, give up all your money. Oh, you want to be rich? Jesus is like, it is actually harder for a rich man to get into heaven
Where
than
did
it is
that
for a
one
camel
go?
to get to the head of a needle. So have fun with your Bitcoin, bro.
Where did that go, with our American Christianity?
I have a couple theories. I don't think Christians like Christ, and they don't want to actually be Christ-like. They just like the condemnation that comes with being a Christian.
Being holy, yeah.
You get to condemn, which is so... I mean, listen, I love judging. Judging is fun. Condemning...
But Christian reading means there's no leeway.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, as we know, there's wonderful Christians that we've grown up with, and as they use their Christianity in a good way and they're not judgy, we know those people. And my aunt is my favorite relative. She's a 91-year-old nun, and she's the coolest, more progressive than I am.
Like in a convent?
She's retired now, so she's in retirement. She's coming to the show. She hasn't left.
A nun in O'Mary is wild.
She hasn't left Philly in years because she's in her 90s, and she's like, I'm having someone drive me to the matinee from Philly, and then I'm going to drive back. And I'm like, Sister Terri.
Sister Terri. Honestly, a matinee, obviously. She's 91. Of course it's going to be a matinee.
Yeah, and she's also the one that was, would sign her emails. The ultimate pro-life gesture is care of the earth.
She's like a hippie nun.
She's a cool nun. And she started conservative, became more progressive in the 60s. And she's...
Oh, that's right, the 60s.
Yeah.
Because she's 90.
She's like, if anyone else marries you to a man, John, I'll be very upset. I'm the one. I'm like, Terri, I love you.
Have you never been married?
No. But Terri will be the one. I'd rather marry Terri.
Terri's got to be the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's the one who'll go. My parents were very judgy. Mom was like, you're going to hell. Why you want to go to hell? I'm like, Mom. And then she would
ask you why you want to go to hell.
Yeah.
That's a crazy
It's
question.
a hard question to answer.
Why do you want to go to hell? I'm like, well, who's there?
Right. I know. We all remember that thing of heaven is be with your family for eternity.
Black people always ask the question. Whenever black people go somewhere, I always say, who's going to be there? So we're going to heaven. Who's going to be there?
It's the same as the party.
Also, you ever thought about this? So I grew up Christian, Baptist, and the
Catholic.
To get into heaven, all you got to do is just repent right before you die.
Right
That's all you gotta do.
before. You can do it yourself.
Yeah. You don't even need anyone there. You'd be like, my bad. Oh, I'm sick. Oh, I feel my pulse getting down.
Forgive me.
For real this time. My bad. All that stuff, I was playing. So, and there are pastors who go to death row and find murderers and rapists, and all they do is just turn their lives over right before they die. Right before you get in the electric chair, right before you get your injection, right before you get the firing squad or a brick dropped in your head, wherever the hell they're doing, wherever you are.
But they got a loyalty card, everyone.
So my question is, who's in heaven?
A bunch of
death row inmates who have murdered people are all in heaven. That's crazy.
I'd rather go to purgatory, to be honest.
That's insane.
But y'all don't have purgatory, do you? You go to hell or heaven?
Yeah. Oh, and it's not just hell. It's like hell.
We had limbo for a while. Remember babies who didn't get
limbo.
Didn't get baptized.
Just a bunch of babies.
But then they canceled it.
Limbo's little jamboree, like Pluto.
Where are the babies going now? I mean,
my pastor told me that all babies go to heaven.
Like all dogs go to heaven.
Yeah, then my other pastor was like, that's not true. My other pastor was like, if that baby didn't accept Jesus Christ, that baby is going to hell. And I was like, I'm out. Okay, I have to unsubscribe. You're sending babies to hell? I don't love babies, but I'm not going to send them to hell. They shouldn't be in first class.
They're babies.
I'll tell you that. They shouldn't be sitting next to me. But they don't got to go to hell.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
I want to, before we move on, Hedwig, I want to ask you.
But I would tell you this about Sister Terri. She's like, when Shortbus happened, my sexually explicit film.
Very.
My parents pretended like I was doing nothing. They just deers in the headlight. My brothers are like, just admit that he did something. You don't have to see it. So my mom's like, well, she's Scottish. She's like, it's Shortbus is in our town. We'll go see it if you want. And I'm like, I told you I don't want you to see it. It's snowing, but we'll go. Don't want you to go. Dad's very ill, but we'll go. I'm like, don't go. Sister Terri goes. I'm like, Sister Terri, don't go. She's like, if all your parents are not going, she's from Chicago. If they're not going, then I'm going. I'm like, don't go. Sister Terri opens with someone blowing himself. She's like, and she goes. And I said, Terri, what'd you think? She goes, oh, Johnny, we come from such different worlds. But she went.
I'm also explaining hearing like your sister Terry's Midwest accent, your mom's Scottish accent. What does your dad have?
My dad's from D.C. and had kind of a blue blood sort of, that kind of William Buckley slightly. It's all very inconvenient.
And then there's this German nanny.
The German nanny, Frau Schultz.
So where did you?
I moved every 2 years, so I'm good with accents.
You are.
Yeah.
You're great.
And thank you.
As your mother would say. You're great. You're doing fantastic. So is Terri, whose sister is Terri?
She's actually a second cousin, but I call her an aunt.
Got it.
She was around, so I could marry her.
Well, I'm from Alabama, so it's not weird to me.
Remember the Oh Mary inbred jokes?
Yes. I've seen her married twice now. I've seen it.
It really killed you softly, didn't it?
Well, you're off on Mondays though.
Yeah, that's why I'm here. Why the hell am I here on my day off?
I can't come see you because I'm doing Moulin Rouge, so I can't come see you.
You are?
Yeah, I'm in Moulin Rouge right now.
8 shows a week? I had no idea.
Yeah, I'm playing Harold Ziedler in Moulin Rouge, which
do you
also
do a Sunday night?
I do Sunday. We do Sunday matinee.
Well, then you can get in.
There it is.
And I can come see you on Wednesday.
Wednesday matinee.
Your favorite.
Don't come to Wednesday matinee. It is. It's the trenches. Wednesday matinee is truly the Broadway trenches. No shade. And to all of you who came on a Wednesday matinee, I appreciate
I love you, and I love how old you are.
It's. I can say right now, it is Sister Terri and her friends.
They're still enjoying it. They're just not making a sound.
Yeah, every Wednesday matinee is Sister Terri and all of her friends being like,
what?
Yeah. Oh, they're doing so great up there. Oh, they're doing fantastic.
Oh, how do they know all those lines?
We're from different worlds. One of your Hedwigs was in Moulin Rouge.
Who's?
Taye Diggs.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
I love Taye.
Taye Diggs
so
is in Moulin Rouge.
sweet.
Can I tell you something real quick before we move on? I had a wig made that was inspired by a wig from Hedwig on Broadway, and this wig became my biggest controversy.
Why?
This
was
wig...
Was it a Tina type?
You'll see it.
Okay.
This wig became...
That one?
That's the one. So this wig was loosely based on a wig from the Broadway version of Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
Okay, I see it now. Yeah, ours was more teased.
And I just thought it was. I was like, I remember thinking to myself, God, I love this wig. It is so nice. So I have my friend Marco from Marco's Wigs.
Look at the title of that.
Bell
What's the
bottoms.
worst wig ever used?
Literally. So I want to say. And I know these were like you and Perfidia and the whole team came with these wigs
Mike
together.
Potter did them.
Michael Potter did these.
Yeah.
Oh, and Pretty style.
Yeah.
Got it. So you and Michael Potter did. I love this wig. I got so much shit for this wig. I'm telling you, so much shit. I want to know what you think of this wig.
It looks like your head's on fire, which is a plus.
Right?
To me, I love it. It's like I remember wearing it. I didn't realize that my head was so big.
Yeah. Someone posted and said, I have questions. They like, I do not see how they did not see the vision for this wig. To me, this wig is perfect. But anyway.
Flame.
Last question about Hedwig, and we can move on. What's next for Hedwig? I know you got a version in Japan that you're
I'm going to direct that in next January, February. We're hoping for London. We got the 25th anniversary, so I'll be doing some screenings around the country, which I'm going to get a website together for that. And it's the 20th anniversary of Shortbus.
Oh my God, you had a busy couple of years there with the film, didn't you?
So old. It's just not the moment of small films right now, unfortunately, because of streamers. It's not a great time for films. But I'm doing
gigs. There's that great film Melania that just came out.
Someone said Melania is like Hedwig without a sense of humor. Because she came from Eastern Europe. She was kind of a, right? A little bit of that.
A hooker?
A magic model.
Can we call Melania a hooker?
Model hooker.
These are all jokes in case
jokes, parody.
The Trumps want to get litigious.
Yeah. I mean,
She's kind of a hooker.
we're already out of the system.
She's kind of a hooker.
She got what she wanted. I hope it's made her happy. I'm sure it
Do
hasn't.
you think she got what she wanted? Do you
Yes,
think when
because
she
she would have
married,
divorced him.
I don't think
Why is she still there?
I don't think she can.
Are
Look
you
what happened
saying-
to Mike Pence when he unaligned himself. Like, you can't just unalign yourself with Trump and just be like, dude, I'm going to walk around the world now. You know, they ran, who's the from Georgia?
Oh,
Marjorie
Marjorie.
Green. They ran her out of town.
But is a divorce the same as? She's not really
It's got to be worse than just like
a
you know,
Scientology. If you leave, they take your children.
Yeah, maybe. What's the name of the lady? The Scientology lady who did the documentary, Leah Remini.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's like a Leah Remini thing. You know what I mean? Because I feel like when she married Trump, she's like, oh, it's this really rich man. He's so rich.
Get what I want.
I'm gonna have so much money, and then he became the president, and she was like, okay, this, I just want the money.
She could have done a little walk away after the first defeat. I don't think people would have blamed her. Well, she also got, her citizenship for her family members while ICE is like ripping people out of the goddamn
And she got that Trump
houses.
gold card
Yeah.
apparently for $1 million.
And Nicki Minaj dead to so many.
Girl, it's actually
How dare you?
insane.
It's unbelievable.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And, Cardi B is now right on all counts.
Belcalis Almazar. Stick with the lady from the Bronx.
My favorite drag queen from Britain is Lavoie.
I know Lavoie.
She's so funny. She's old school British, but in the perfect way. And she has some zingers. She's like, I'm trying to do some more modern songs, but I thought Ariana Grande was a font. And Cardi B was my second favorite jumper.
I love that she. Also, if you don't know Lavoie has, she's stunning drag. But I can never unsee her like she has such an overbite. Like she has this like it's kind of gorgeous.
It is.
But like her teeth are so iconic. Kind of like RuPaul has iconic teeth. She has those like buck teeth. They're so
Prominent.
Lizzo has the same teeth.
Oh, really?
Lizzo and RuPaul have the it's like this they have these little bunny rabbit teeth that come down in the front. I'm obsessed with it.
She also gave me a great joke. Lavoie didn't give it to me. It's her joke. But she's like,
No, we're taking it. Lavoie, it's gone. It's Americans. You know, Brits, you're used to taking stuff that don't belong to you. It's our turn.
Right. But it was like, oh, she's talking to me on stage and she goes, oh, let me just move this mic stand so the audience can see me. Like an Ozempic joke.
She also had this bit where she would she had a bracelet, but the bracelet is a flask. So mid-show, she just like opens, and she has a beautiful singing voice. And anyway,
Yeah, she's great.
Shout out to Lavoie. Now I want to switch a little bit to your current project, which is Oh Mary.
Mm-hmm.
So how many times have you been on Broadway now?
I think this is my fifth show.
So you did Hedwig.
I did Big River was my first job in New York.
Big River. What was this?
That was 85.
Oh my God. You better work.
I was understudy for Huck Finn. They were mean to me. I went on. They asked me to take over because I was good, and I was like, "Fuck off." Because
So how old are you at this time?
You remind me of Dina Martina. And what's your name tonight? How old are you right now?
No, not at this time right now. At the time of 85.
Oh, thank you. People can still add, or can they? 85, I would have been 21. Just came out of college. I didn't graduate.
Me either.
And who
What'd you
needs-
study?
No one ever asked for a diploma, did they?
What'd you study?
Theater at Northwestern.
Theater education at Columbus
Yeah.
State University in Columbus, Georgia. Not to brag.
Did you have loans to pay off?
I did.
I didn't have much.
It was not much. I had $10,000.
That's what I had.
Yeah.
Now it's like so hard for people to pay
impossible.
of anything. I don't know why they go to
And-
college at all.
I want to talk about, one day I'll do a whole video about how I think higher education is the second biggest scam in America.
What's the first?
Well, it's the third. I would say it's the third. The first is religion.
Mm-hmm.
The second is healthcare. The third is higher education.
I know. So my mom's British. I kind of want to move, but what are you going to do? The work's here too, and I love the good parts of my country. I was listening out my window at Oh Mary last night to the street, the dirty street below, and I heard a loudspeaker, and it was Trump's voice, and I was like, ugh. And then it was like, this is the country of immigrants. And I'm
Trump
like,
said that?
It was a fake Trump screaming everything you want to hear.
This is the country of immigrants.
Yeah.
We love
Our
immigrants.
Excuse
me.
We're here for immigrants.
We love Mexicans more than anything.
But it was saying the things that I believe that are the good parts of America, which is like people come from to try to make something good. There's plenty of bad parts, but why are we such a rich country and not taking care of even just our people, let alone the millions who will now die because of the AIDS funding being pulled out last year.
You know what's really crazy is that the AIDS funding wasn't even started by a Democrat, although
It was Bush.
It was Bush.
The only thing he did to make up for his sins.
George Bush was basically like, listen, it is our job to make things right in the world.
Yeah. And they say 25 million people may have been saved.
HIV and AIDS is running rampant in the world. We need to do something about it. And other Republicans like, yeah, you're right. We should be doing something about this.
Yeah.
And then this lasted through Obama. Mm-hmm. This lasted through Trump. It lasted through
first Trump.
Biden. Mm-hmm. It lasted. Then somehow it got to Trump's next term.
Doge.
And he's like,
Elon.
I don't know. I think that
we'd be helping.
I actually think HIV and AIDS isn't a big deal. I think that
like
movie
measles.
I think that movie Rent was kind of just being a little dramatic. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull that funding. Also, bring back my girl Measles.
What is Robert
Epidemic All Stars?
Does Kennedy believe all this stuff?
It's crazy. It's like they're casting All Stars, but for illnesses. Bring back the Black Plague. Bubonic, where you at?
Right. Bring back slavery for some.
I would say, listen, I have a theory. I'm going to advocate for a little bit, and I can see the room might not be on my side, but I think that white slavery, it deserves its moment. It's time. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you're white and you're my friend, I'll be good to you.
I'll tie you to the radiator with a stipend.
I'll feed you. I'll give you good sleeping quarters. I'll
heat you because you'll be next to the radiator.
There it is. So I'm just advocating a little bit and I think that if we
That's how they were saying people were taken care of.
There it is. And I'm not saying for a long time. I'm just saying for the same amount of time that black people were slaves. And then I think maybe we could even
it out.
Just give us roughly 250 years.
Well, what about non-whites? Are they allowed to?
No, they
participate.
Can't. No. Only black people can.
Can they own?
No, they can rent. They can lease.
I want to ask your opinion. What do you think about the term "people of color," which has predominated in the last few years?
Well, I think that it's a good term to encapsulate what it means to not be white.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I do think that a lot of people really want to use the term people of color, even if they are white. For example, hear me all the way out here. This might be the part where we get canceled. Puerto Rican is not a race.
No, it's a nationality.
It's a nationality. Mexican is not a race.
Nationality.
It's a nationality. You can be Taino.
Even African is not a race.
African is not a race. Black is a race, right? So there are white people in Puerto Rico. There are Taino, like indigenous, brown people in Puerto Rico. There are black people in Puerto Rico.
And everybody's mostly mixed.
Lupita Nyong'o is Mexican. A lot of y'all forget that.
Is that right?
Her name is Lupita. Lupita Nyong'o is Mexican, born in Mexico, speaks Spanish, the whole 9 yards. And now she's American. She became American like a couple years ago. I mean, she posted online that she became American. I was like, bad timing.
Gold card?
I was like, bad timing. Bad timing.
Not now.
Whenever my friends are like, I should come to America, I'm like, you are watching the news and you want to come to America? That's crazy. That's insane. Go to Canada. They seem nice up there. I haven't been in a while. They seem nice. They seem like they got their shit together more than we do. But what I'm getting at is, I think a lot of people are realizing that they're trying to distance themselves from the problematic past of their ancestors. So sometimes someone will go, I'm not white, I'm Puerto Rican. And I'm like, no, you can be white in Puerto Rican. I'm not saying all Puerto Ricans are white. I'm saying there are white Puerto Ricans. There are white Mexicans.
White Jamaicans.
There are white Jamaicans. Louis C.K. is Mexican.
What?
Louis C.K. is Mexican.
Why doesn't he speak up?
Why is he saying anything? Maybe he has. I'm not sure. What I'm saying is, I think that some people will inappropriately use the term people of color because they just want you to.
They don't want to be seen as white. And of course, a lot of political correctness of the last years came from very good, grievances, real happening, trying to fix stuff. But of course, we can never agree on anything if we're on the evolved left side, let's say. And then we start to separate ourselves by identity, and it starts to be, you're not as oppressed as me, and I'm this. And it's like identity became the main thing of the last few years. And a lot of young people, it's like they're afraid to say anything in case they get canceled. And then it pushed some people to the right, and there's a reason some people went and voted Republican that wouldn't have.
But I think it's
partly
more
was
about
inflation,
them.
but it was also, I agree, but there was also a certain, he used that saying woke means bad, right?
Yes.
And sometimes woke could get out of hand and start to become its own religion, but the intentions were good. But the people of color thing, just like the non-binary thing, I just started feeling it inherently felt a little bit racist because it implied that everybody's in that bin that's not white, and white is the default. So if you're saying person of color, it implies that person without color is the default, which it isn't.
Well, I think it is. I don't think
It has
it's the
power,
default.
but it's not.
I think it is the standard of currency. I think that being a cis white male, a cis straight white male,
is the ruling class.
Is the highest social currency. It is the Bitcoin of the crypto.
That's right.
World.
And in the African world, the term high yella had something to do with imitating the master, right?
Yeah, we black folks say high yellow. Yeah.
Right, and for gay, the same thing as straight acting mask.
Butch, mask for mask.
Closer to the goddamn master.
Like, for example, I am someone I am non-binary. I like the term non-binary.
I'm fine with it.
Because it acknowledges the system.
Yes.
It's not saying that, like, binary people are
norms.
The standard. What it's saying is the system acknowledges that, like, binary people, man, woman. And I remember the first time I moved to New York City, like I moved here in 2008 when I was 22. And I met this person named Dakota, who at the time they were going by the drag name Azrea.
Okay.
And Azrea was the first person I ever met who was like, I am genderless. I had never met anyone who was like, I am genderless. And what I was seeing was what I perceived to just be like some gay guy. But then something happened the more I hung out with them and the more I spent time with them. This is really before people were... I actually don't think the term non-binary in reference to gender had been brought up by 2008. But I remember being with this person who called themselves... They would say, I'm a gender terrorist, which I actually like. I actually like gender terrorists way more than non-binary.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have... It doesn't sit well with people.
These days. And you're right. I mean,
ever since 9/11, you can't call yourself a terrorist anymore.
Things have really changed.
No one can call themselves a terrorist.
I like androgynous, though it's a longer word. Non-binary feels clinical, but the idea is right. And it's the one that is natural. It's like we all know our butch moms and our this and that. It's like we're all kind of non-binary if we just let it go a little. And some are more
A lot of
so.
us have an auntie uncle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like these are the people I worship. You know, even my Aunt Terri, she was a little bit butch, right? And it's like, to me, it's like, let it flow.
You got to go interview Aunt Terri. She's 91.
I should.
You got to get Aunt Terri documented.
Because at this point, she has nothing to hide, right? No one can take her down. Mother Superior's dead.
How many popes has she outlived? My God.
I don't know. She was a mother. She was a mother provincial, they called her.
Call me mother.
Mother.
Because she gives life. I want that documentary.
Maybe we should get her in here.
Oh my God. I mean, okay, we'll have to get her right after the matinee.
In my dressing room.
Yeah, I'll swing by and I'll talk to Mother Terri.
Mother Terri McKenzie.
Have you done tours? You've done tours.
Just music tours. I stole a line. I used to be a tour de force. Now I'm forced to tour.
Have you seen that clip of Michael Jackson talking about touring?
No.
I have to show you.
The record company usually like for you to support your album and go on tour. And I don't like to.
Well, can we just do it again without the negative saying that you don't like the tour? Just 'cause
I don't like it though.
I know, but see,
I go through
what
hell.
Are you setting up though? I don't understand.
I go through hell touring. Okay, then I'll make it positive then.
Yeah, it's just
For you know the truth.
yeah.
Okay.
And action, Michael.
I love to tour.
I love to tour. All right, sorry. Okay, I have an idea for a new segment that I want to try.
Oh.
And this is where you get to ask my next guest a question.
Oh.
I don't know who the next guest is, but you get to ask them a question. You can make it as personal as you want. You'll be the first one to do this.
Describe your first anal sex.
Describe your first anal sex.
And if you haven't had it, why not?
Why not? I love that.
I came up during AIDS, so I did not get. And I've only really, it's not my thing, but I want to, but
You've
like,
never.
no. So I'd like to
Well, you've
reach
never-
out to the audience. If anyone has a reasonable sized,
Can we describe what reasonable is before we? Because everyone doesn't have the same reasons.
I would like a small, perfectly formed, mushroom-headed,
There we go.
you know,
We're specific.
smile.
So you've never had anal sex once?
No, I mean, there's been, someone was inside me, but it wasn't a full on. I was just like, I can't do this because I grew up and it was, what killed you, you know?
Yeah, that
and,
makes sense.
And
That makes
even
sense.
a condom, like I know certain people who wanted to, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't think so. And they died. So it affected me. So it's full of emotion, I
Yeah,
think.
that makes sense.
If someone's going to go there, they're going to have to be ready for tears. And for some, that's a fetish. But
John Cameron Mitchell will cry on your
we'll cry upon like a hook,
just riding
like
your dick and just
like
bawling,
a coat on a hook.
bawling.
I am going to. It's not that I'm against it. You know, I'm getting to the age now where it's like it's
The woman
less.
reaches an age.
Yeah, it's like I don't need as much sex. I'm actually glad about that. I'm like one of those snakes that eats a rabbit once every 3 months,
But you swallow it whole.
and it's. Thank you.
No chewing, honey.
But I can live on it. I might spit out the pelt and make a jacket.
How long are you in Oh Mary? And how long?
Till the 26th of April. Every show is, I never slack off. I'm a trooper. The show must go on. The understudy hates me. And
You're a real show pony.
And I might change some accents when I do that audition scene. I'm doing Australian now. I might do Scottish tonight.
Can I hear a little bit of your
Oi! My name's the News. And I love the smell of balls out there. Is that Cockney? I don't know what it is.
I'm going to ask you on my final question in my Australian accent.
By the way, I'm also the voice of, or was the voice of Dunkaroos Cookies.
Wait, are you really?
Which, yeah. Everyone's like, Tony, whatever.
What year was
Dunkaroos.
this?
In the 90s, I paid my bills for years saying, how do you do your Dunkaroos?
This is... You learn such interesting... Did you know Jane Lynch was the voice of women's recruiting for the Army?
Oh, God.
And that was how she, kept herself afloat
Thank
for
you.
years.
Dykes have skills that are
Did you
used.
know Queen Latifah was the voice of Pizza Hut?
No.
I'm not lying. Queen Latifah used to be the voice of Pizza Hut.
Does she ever talk about her love life? No.
Like vaguely. Kind of like what's the lady who always does the moves where she's like, I'll kill you if you try to kill me. Jodie Foster.
Yeah.
Like
But
vaguely.
she finally did thank her loved one.
Yeah, she was like, my loved one. I'm not gonna say what gender they are, but let's just say
They're,
she. You know what I mean? But it's kind of like
I know. When you get to a certain age, you stop. You're like, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Or you slide out like Lily Tomlin, who was like, oh, I guess she's out. It's like she
Lily
didn't.
Tomlin's gay?
You got to be kidding me.
When did she come out?
Well, that's the thing. She just sort of slid out like a premature baby later in life, but she didn't have to say it. But she's right there with the gay rights. Jane Wagner, her co-writer, is her partner for decades. That's the thing. It's like we also don't talk about.
Cassandra Peters
Yeah, we don't
came
talk
out in her book.
those people who ease out. Like we all kind of knew Paul Rubens, right? Was, but he never came out. It's like, did Eddie Murphy ever come out about his?
Girl,
Hello.
that's a conversation for a different
That's another
day.
episode.
Baby,
I have a lot of stories.
Well, I used to work at Lucky Chang's.
Oh, well, you know.
Do I know?
I used to hang out at Edelweiss, and I heard all the stories.
Do I know? And y'all, Google it yourself.
We didn't say nothing.
We didn't say nothing. But all we're saying is you have a computer, you can Google things.
Yeah.
My final question, which I'll do in my Australian accent, mate.
Ye-
Here it is today.
That's
What's
teeter-
the heel you're willing to die on? I'll say for me,
Heels.
heels. For me, it is. I believe that all remotes should be tethered. They should be tethered.
I was
to
about to go to ice, and you're going to remotes.
No, it can be anything. Yours can be as intense as you want it to be. all remotes should be tethered. My friends used to make fun of me because, first of all, remotes used to be sizable. In the early 2000s, around the time the dish got really, really popular, the remote became this giant behemoth. Because I feel like in the 90s, a remote was like maybe that big.
Yes.
But then somewhere in the 90s, they became these big. Have you seen these guys who compare their penises to remotes? It's a whole thing.
Remote maxing.
So now you're penis. Anyway, but then we went backwards with the Roku and the iPhone. These tiny little, they can fall between the cracks of your couch. You will never see them again. So I attached mine to a giant dowel, a huge dowel, so I couldn't lose. And all my friends made fun of me. But then I found this thing called Remote Rescue. I'm not. This is not like an
Does
advertisement.
it have a chip in it? Air
No,
tag?
it's just a has a sticker that you stick to the wall or to your table, and then it tethers your remote, and then you do it and it zips back. And it's honestly amazing.
I would die on the hill of, I mean, there's the big things, the people you take a bullet for, right? Mm-hmm. But in terms of just like practical things, it's like, to me, when all these subscription labels and Spotify's and Apple Music's and iTunes came up,
Let her
I'm
cook.
I'm like, why isn't all media in one place with everyone getting a piece of it? So everyone has to subscribe to that one place and everyone is fairly paid. But you can get every piece of music, every TV show, every movie on that service. There might be some up charges, but basically, because there's films that friends of mine have made that are gone. They're not on the internet. They're not on DVD. They've disappeared. They're somewhere.
Yeah.
But the rights have lapsed. So why not just have the way Spotify tried to do, even though it cheats people, with music, why can't we do that with all media?
Well, I think someone might take advantage of it. Maybe there should at least be two.
How?
There should be two, so the one doesn't have all the power in the world.
But if it's something that is not owned, that it's more of a kind of public, nonprofit where everyone has to pay in.
Now you're cooking.
And it pays off. Yeah, because capitalism will destroy everything.
We used to have, back in my day, we had something called cable. But
DVD.
But cable would allow you to look at these. It's crazy now because like the idea was when Netflix hit the scene, it was like, oh, this is a cheaper option than cable. But now you have so many. It is so much more expensive than cable.
Yes.
Like crazy.
And in effect, they've given up their most interesting programming now, and they've become CBS and NBC again.
Yeah.
They're just doing pop, and it's like the stuff that even from a few years ago that were, ooh, that's an interesting thing, they're not making anymore.
I find that some of the most interesting stuff is honestly on YouTube. Maybe it's the millennial in me.
I also like European shows. I love to get shows out of Britain, and there's great cop shows. I mean, I actually like spy and cop shows when they're smart. There's I want to plug a great show on, because it's gay men treating each other well, which is a reality show called The Boyfriend from Japan on Netflix.
And they're nice to each other?
They're so kind. And the second season is even better. And it's like the real world thrown into a room. They have to do a coffee truck or whatever. But it's like, I've come to create, love. And they're so kind, and tears, and like people. And it's so romantic. And they get together and for life, they say. But it's like, I've invited them to my shows in Japan. And,
nice.
And it's really hard to be gay there. It's like people don't, it's not cool. And
I've never been to Japan.
A lot of tears. There's only one guy who's like, my mom's fine with it. But it will give you hope in gay male culture again, which, as we know, gay doesn't mean good. Queer don't mean good. It means different. But then it starts to be samey.
Yeah, queer people can be bad. Shout out Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah, you get, I don't even count her, but it's a big umbrella, the queer umbrella.
Count her, I just met her. I'm sorry.
Poker, you brought her. But you're right. It's like, I remember being with a group of trans friends who were on that Caitlyn show, and they're all like, oh, God, rolling their eyes.
No, there's no way Caitlyn is great.
No, because she went from rich to rich, and that, there was nothing queer about their experience.
There's no way you're living. I'm not saying, because I don't really know the Kardashians like that, but I can't imagine that household has turned out like particularly
healthy.
Because everyone who leaves the Kardashians is
traumatized.
They don't just leave like, oh yeah, I used to date a Kardashian and now I'm not. It's all
It's
you,
like
you're like
PTSD.
everyone who leaves the Kardashians looks like this fox.
Bed rag.
Oh, it's like they've had a horrible time. They are just raggedy, beat up.
They don't know what they stand for. They're not cute.
Yeah, no one leaves like,
I'm improved.
It's like you're in a go-kart that flipped 10 times and you land and you're like, ugh.
But what does that mean for them?
I think it means that they're probably like energy vampires. Kanye West came out crazy.
Yeah, but crazier than them.
They take something from you and they don't give anything back to you.
It's like clavicular. You heard about that? That's the new looks maxing.
Oh. Did you see how he got mogged? Do you know what mogging is?
What does that mean again?
So mogging is basically when someone is like when they're frame mogging you, they get in the camera shot with you
Photoshop-ish?
and they look way better than you.
Oh.
So clavicular frame mogged by this ASU frat guy.
I love this is their job. This is the thing. Clavicular, hanging out with Nick Fuentes and Nazis, and it's like, yeah, politics is kind of, what's the word he uses? It doesn't matter. It's gesture. It's just a joke. And it's like, I would vote for the more attractive candidate, not J.D. Vance. He's fat. And it's just like, is this what, frat boys were already annoying.
They want to glaze their bros.
What do they become? They become gay?
They want to glaze their bros really badly.
Yeah.
And honestly, girl, just glaze your bro.
Glaze it.
All right. You can see John Cameron Mitchell in Oh Mary through April
26.
Through April 26.
And I will be 63 by then.
60. If you want to see a 63-year-old up on stage doing who knows what accent during the audition scene by that point, come to the Sunday night show.
Those are fun.
And see after a week of
Broken
delirium.
Down. I'll take an edible for you for money.
And if you're in Japan, you can go see a production of Hedwig directed by John Cameron Mitchell.
In exactly a year.
Tune in next week to find out what our guest feels about anal sex.
Feels during anal sex.
I cannot wait until it's like Meryl Streep.
Now, women like it sometimes even though they don't have a prostate, right?
Yo, you don't need a prostate to love anal sex.
Okay.
Only Child is a Purse First Studios production. Executive produced by Taylor O'Rear and Bob the Drag Queen. Edited by Chris Schwallenberg. Camera operation by Chris Casso. Special thanks to Kennedy Warner, Andy Daly, Mateo Lane, Nick Smith, and Studio 71.